Welcome. I'm Bernice Ross,
And my name is Greg McDaniel.
and my call-in today is called Lead Generation Secrets Using YouTube. And we're going to be taking a deep dive into how to do this. And we have a guest today. His name is Jackson Wilkie. And Greg and I have both been totally blown away by this gentleman. He's got some fantastic tips for you. But Greg, could you say a little bit about what Jackson has done for your business?
Yeah, not a problem. When I first met Jackson, I brought him onto my podcast, Real Estate Uncensored, because another agent had told me about him. I'm like, wait a minute, what are you saying here? You're telling me there's a dude out there getting leads from YouTube videos? He's not running ads? This other agent's like, no, he's actually doing YouTube videos. And I'm like, hold up. So I went and I watched a bunch of Jackson's videos, and I'm like, this is some amazing content. And then I started really kind of geeking out on some of his videos. And I'm like, this really needs to be like seen more. So I booked him on my podcast. He came on, we started doing some more. And I got deeper into kind of what his ecosystem was and understanding his mindset, what he and his business partner, Jesse, were doing up in Portland. And I started realizing, oh my gosh, like I have literally been doing everything wrong. No wonder my videos for the last 5 years have like 60 views on them, just pathetic amounts of views. And I was like, oh, well, it's very simple. And so what Jackson's going to talk to you guys about today are something that it's so obvious that if there's a snake, it would have bitten you already and you would have been dead. But you know what? Once your eyes are open and you're like, oh my gosh, like it's right there. All these tools are right here in front of me. And I just really am looking forward to this because Jackson, you're getting people calling you, like happy people calling you, like 4, 5, 6, 10 people a day. And some people think I'm making those numbers up, but you can verify them later. Going, hey man, I've been watching your videos. Like, I can't believe I'm talking to you. You're like amazing. Yes, we're moving, and I'm not ever going to interview anybody else. Like, you're a legend in my mind. Yeah. And you're like, what's your name again? Yeah. Oh, yes. Nice to meet you.
I do have to ask that a lot. So what's your name? Pleasure to talk to you. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Yes, this is great.
And you know what's great about all of this is, Jackson, how long have you been in the real estate business?
Oh, yes. I literally have just been in it just over a year. So I worked myself basically out of production in about 6 months. So I have 2 deals under my belt. So if you look at my numbers, it's not going to show it. If you look at, my business partner, he writes all the deals, and that's because he's good at real estate and I was good at the video stuff, so not very long.
So what happened? Tell us, give us the background on how you got started. And when you first started, you had the kind of results that Greg was getting, not that many views.
Yeah.
And what was the secret, the big secret that changed all that?
Okay, so first of all, Greg, I love looking at channels when I'm talking to people. He's the epitome of like doing YouTube wrong, because if I told him the other day, I'm like, if you would have figured this out 9, 10 years ago, when you started posting videos, you'd be a multi-millionaire. So he has like hundreds of videos and he has like 8 subscribers. So
that hurt my soul, by the way. I heard that and I'm like,
of doing it wrong. But so what happened was, and this is going to play a big role into what we talk about a little bit later, but I'm not even from Portland, Oregon. In fact, I've lived here just over 2 years. Just decided to leave a small town in North Idaho to move here. And so why that plays a huge role is because you're supposed to get business from, your SOI and, your friends and stuff. I didn't know anybody. So I really moved here to get a sales job as an escrow, a sales rep for escrow company. And I was a journeyman lineman. So blue collar, ranch worker, worked on power lines for 10 years, had no idea what I was doing. So I had to figure it out, right? I ended up meeting Jesse, and this kid's a rock star, dude. First year, rookie of the year, 12 million, cold calling boss, just like a business dude, right? And he's like, I want marketing, I want video, I want to go all in. So I just start shooting him. He's showing up every day, and soon he's like, dude, just get out of sales, come into real estate, And so that's really how this partnership started. And we didn't really partner up at first. We were kind of separate. And here I am trying to do what the Greg does and the Jesse and cold call. And I was praying that people didn't pick up the phone. Like, I hated cold calling, dude. And I could go to an open house and talk to anybody, but I couldn't close afterwards because I hated bugging them. Like, it's not me. But
Jackson, what kind of videos were you shooting initially?
Yeah. And so that's where we got into like the traditional. I'm like, okay, see, let's do the Gary V. Gary V's out there preaching this digital mayor, restaurant shops, bars, and it just makes you this local celebrity. So I'm like, let's go all in, and we're go-getters. So 3 to 4 like restaurants. We're just door knocking every restaurant and shop in the area, whether it's downtown Portland or every suburb, shooting interviews, doing all these videos. I did a 30 for 30 segment, like 30 of my favorite places in 30 days. So like just shooting content. I had the local police department reach out and say they love what we're doing. We want to do some videos. Schools were reaching out. We were doing it. Like, this is it. It's going to explode. So like 3-4 months of this, you know, we're really starting to get our name out there. Never got one call. So like still to this day, you know, we still have never gotten a call or a lead or a referral off of any of that digital mayor stuff. So you have to bring it back to like, okay, you're putting this content out there to the Facebooks and the Instagrams, to people who they didn't search this stuff out. They didn't really want that content. They'll watch it, you know, if it's got a big stringy cheese pizza to open up, you know, right? But so I found out which videos got better views, but that's what we were doing, is shooting the local interview style, and it just never got us any business. So that's how we started. And if you want to kind of ask me a question again, or I can go straight into how I figured out which videos to go.
Well, the question that comes up for me, Jackson, is what was missing?
Yeah. So the number one thing that I found out was missing was nobody was searching our videos out. And I knew we were doing videos. I knew we were doing the right thing, and we were missing a few things. First of all, we wanted to get our videos in front of people who wanted the videos, right? So that was the biggest thing. On some of those other social platforms, it's tough. They didn't really want that information. So I needed to get it to a platform to where people searched it. And then second of all, once you get it there, you've got to tell these people exactly what your video is about. And so that was the big thing. One night, I literally have the spreadsheet. I'll never get rid of it. It's on my desktop, and it says the YouTube effing gold mines. So one night I discovered keyword research, and I found a tool called Keywords Everywhere, and it was free back then. Now it's like only $10, and it's a lifesaver. And what it does is it turns your Google bar into a gold mine. Literally, you just type things in, and it tells you how many times it's searched a month. And then to the right, it brings up a bunch of other related topics. And so when I was typing in like Portland, Oregon, moving to Portland, you know, some of these things, they were starting to get a lot of searches. So like Portland, Oregon searched 823,000 times a month, and there's no competition, and started stretching that out. So I'm getting into your world of like long tail keywords, right? Like, okay, well, if someone's moving here, shoot, I just moved here a year and a half ago. I didn't know how much it costs to live here. It's like, how much does it cost to live in Portland, Oregon? Oh my gosh, it's searched 5,500 times a month, and there's no video, there's nothing about this. And I'm just like, I remember just like going crazy. I am hammering my keyboard, and I have this spreadsheet, the YouTube effing gold mine. And in one night, in 1 hour, I found 50,000 searches a month. Excuse me, let me back up. I found 27 video titles that had 50,000 searches a month with no competition. And that's when I was like, here we go. Okay.
Wow.
I've just struck gold. I call my partner. I'm like, okay, we need to go shoot cost of living, the pros and cons, top 5 neighborhood. I'm just like,
Okay. I want you to slow down and talk about
Sorry,
you know, okay. We can't go through everything that's on your Excel spreadsheet, your gold mine, as you call it. But what are some of the top things that you have found that are working? So, and I know you can, you know, you're doing this in Portland, Oregon.
Yep.
Anyone who's listening to this, you can do this for where you live and just use the same, you know, because the same keywords are getting searched, moving to, you know, Austin, moving to Portland, you know, living in. But which ones are getting the most traction that you're seeing right now in today's environment, especially since, you know, we have so many people at home due to COVID-19?
Yes. So the videos I talk about and preach to everybody, and I'm starting to see a lot of people do, the cost of living. Like, that is just the number one video. And before I say do that video and post it and you're going to be number one, you know, there's a lot behind getting your video up there. But at the same time, that video now was shot with my cell phone. So don't think I'm like this huge video editor, video geek. Like, I just turned my phone sideways. I had a glass vase that I flipped upside down with like a flower pot to get it, because I'm 6'3", to get it high enough. And no microphone. And I shoot, hey, in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how much it costs to live in Portland, Oregon. So stay tuned. So that's what works. I found out by studying the top YouTubers that If you don't tell them exactly what your video is about in the first like 3 to 5 seconds, they're gone. So the number one tip is, and this is where real estate agents really, really struggle, is that basically 99% of the videos I open up to and watch when you know, students or people just reach out are like, hey, look at me. I'm Greg McDaniel. I'm the greatest damn real estate agent that's ever walked the face of the earth. And I'm a realtor, so call me. And then like, so it's just salesy, right? And it's like, or look at my listing, look at my, you're hearing my a lot. So it's a lot of me. That's what I figured out real quick by watching the top YouTubers, was like, literally come out and say, in this video, you're going to learn 5 pros and you're going to learn 5 cons about living in Portland, Oregon. Now they know, okay, because they search this. Okay, so let's go back. Now they type something into a keyboard and they see a good thumbnail, title. And if you don't tell them that in the beginning, it's just, they're going to bounce. So those are the tips that, you know, really, you got to find the title. You got to make a good thumbnail so that they click it. And then right out of the chute, you got to tell them exactly what they get in that video.
Okay, if you could elaborate on what the thumbnail is for people who are not familiar about how that works on YouTube, because I know it works differently. You know, some platforms will come in and they'll just kind of randomly select some things that are, quote, your thumbnails.
Right.
So, but how do I go about creating a good thumbnail?
Yeah, so a good thumbnail, and if I go like nerd out real quick, so a really good thumbnail is going to be, I'm going to move over to this side of the screen. So is a really high vis picture of a face, and then it's going to have 2 to 3 words. So you're going to hear over and over from me, it's that billboard effect driving 70 miles down the freeway. So you've got to capture these people's attention within like 2 to 3 seconds, if that, at thumb stopping speed. You do this by blog writing. You're trying to do, you just told, you know, the secrets of something. So how do you stop them? And it's got to be a really catchy thumbnail. And that's where the huge, like, no competition is, because either it's going to be just like a random picture of like a living room or something, or like a random picture outside, or some people start putting like 15 different words in their thumbnail. It's really small and you can't read it. So what I did, like with the pros and cons video and a thumbnail, I build these out on a program that's called PicMonkey. And you can drag stuff in there. You can add backgrounds. You can remove a background and put a really cool outline around your figure, put big, bold letters. And so like the pros and cons of living in Portland, I just took a picture of myself like this. And I wrote the words, I can't take it. Now that I didn't always have that thumbnail, YouTube is something that you can constantly change and tweak. And that's where I really geek out, is my data and analytics. So I'm watching click-through rates, which is how many times impressions, how many times my video is being put in front of somebody and it's being clicked. And the number one factor to that is your thumbnail and your title. So I changed it. It used to be just a crappy thumbnail. I changed that and was able to gain 100% bigger click-through rate. So I went from like a 3.5% up to a 7%. That video now has hundreds of thousands of impressions. So when you're talking about jumping up 100%, you know, that can be a matter of 10,000+ views. So the thumbnail is very, very important. In fact, you know, they talk about the thumbnail and title being, you know, 90+% of why people will click on your video.
Now, the resource that you said for building this was PicMonkey. Is that .com, PICK monkey.com? Is that correct?
That's
or
correct.
Is it PIC?
Just PIC. Pick. Yep. PIC. And it's a tool just like everything else that's evolving rapidly too. So it just makes it way more, easier to use. But yeah, it's as easy as like pick a background color and you just have a really vibrant color and 2 big, words, 3 big words, and maybe, a picture of yourself, or like pointing, or, holding your head, or whatever it is. Yep, exactly. I do this a lot. So, that's a really easy
where did
program.
you find the data on the cost of living, and then also you had the pros and cons? Did you go to a specific resource for those, or were those just, let's start with where did you find the cost of living data?
Yeah, so that keywords everywhere. So it's a Chrome extension. I believe it's for Safari as well, but I use Chrome. And what you do is just go to keywordseverywhere.com and you buy into it, and it's $10 now. So it's still like the cheapest thing I've ever seen in my life. And that'll give you 100,000 searches. And that builds an extension into your computer, which now turns And you can check a bunch of different boxes. So even if I go to like Amazon.com and search stuff, it's going to tell me how many times things are searched. But the one that we want to work with is that Google bar. So keywords everywhere is where I started, and I still mess around with, but where I've perfected my craft is in TubeBuddy.com, and that is pulling data straight from YouTube. And it also gives you the ability to, sorry if you hear loud noise in the background, my 4-year-old daughter's snacking up. It actually pulls data straight from YouTube, and it allows to weigh your channel. So it gives you a really good chance of ranking for videos by pulling data straight from your channel.
So that's TubeBuddy, T-U-B-E, and then B-U-D-D-Y, and is that a .com on that?
Uh-huh.
So,
and again, it's an extension. And the cool thing about that is, so it is free, and it's going to give you titles, but I pay the $19 a month, and this thing loads your tags. It gives you related searches. It will bring up it brings up a weighted tab and an unweighted tab. So what that means is, like, unweighted is like, now with the relevancy scores that we have as the Portland channel, like cost of living in Portland, Oregon gives you a pretty good, but our channel, since we have so many videos and we've established dominance, it gives us a better ranking. And so it's a 0 to 100 gas meter, right? Red is bad, green is good. But when you do like your type of work, figuring out how to tweak a title, if I type in cost of living in Portland, Oregon, it gives me like a 50-60% chance. But if I type in, because I was like, okay, how would somebody type this in? Oh, how much does it cost to live in Portland, Oregon? Boom, it gives me a 98 out of 100. That means that video with that title and in the description and in the tags, if I place that, I basically got a 100% chance of ranking #1 for that video. And so I'll slam all the way up there, even with channels that have 200,000 views on their video, 1 million views on their video. I'll just right up top.
well, that is that's a huge takeaway for our listeners is, how much is the cost of living in,
Anywhere.
Yeah,
so
do that
it's
video #1. That's what I tell everybody. And then do it like every 6 months. I told Jesse, I'm like, every 6 months we're doing a new cost of living video, and we'll just talk about new relevant data. I mean, people are always wanting to know, and there's always new people searching. And
well,
but,
Jackson,
one of the things I see right now with, people want to know, is COVID-19 impacting the value of my property? And what are you seeing? You're on the front lines, you're a realtor. What's going on? Are people still writing offers in your area? Are things going under asking, still going over asking, depending where you are? Asking those kinds of questions that people want to know.
What does the stock market mean for the interest rates? And so now we do a lot. I mean, we go live all the time. We love live broadcasting onto YouTube. It's a great way to gain a bunch of subscribers and new attention. It basically pops your video #1. I mean, use your city. And it's a live Q&A, and I'm able to bring up questions, and we answer people's questions right there. But you're hitting it right there. Like, people are like, okay, the stock market's doing this. I see the rates going from 2.8% up to 5%. What does it mean? And so we've teamed up with our lender now. So now, and this is kind of important too for you real estate agents, if you need help, like, our lender has bought into our what we're doing. Obviously, I mean, he's got 50+ active buyers right now from YouTube, so he's loving us. But I mean, he's bought us podcast studios and all this, but he gets onto every Zoom call with our clients. He gets onto every live YouTube video. And a lot of those questions do have to pertain about people's money and how much it costs, and stuff. So he gives a lot of information. So team up with your lender and do a lot of those videos. Again, get it away from the real estate videos, but like, how much does it cost to live in Portland, Oregon? And some other things of like, how does, first-time home buyers, or how do millennials buy their first house? There's so many programs out there, and that sheds all of the weight off you. And all you do is tee it up for your lender, who just does this stuff every day, right? So those are great ways for you to get a lot more content out there, and they're not salesy and, listing videos or open houses. It's like, hey, this is information people want.
Well, the other thing is with, and you're using Zoom, and that seems to be the platform of choice for most people these days. So you're doing these interviews, essentially over Zoom, and you're not face-to-face right now because of COVID-19. So this is really something you can start building, a whole stable of videos right now, and really, grow grow your business with this when you're at home. That's the thing I was excited about. Greg, I've kind of been asking all the questions. Let me turn this over to you.
All right, so we've learned a lot about in regards to tactics and techniques of Jackson, kind of the tools you're using to get the videos a little bit more seen in the YouTube universe. But I think what we need to pivot into here really quickly is three different aspects I want to talk about really quickly. One is going to be vlogging, not to be confused with blogging. This is vlogging, so video blogging. Actually, funny story, I was actually in San Francisco a couple of weeks ago, and I was filming the Golden Gate Bridge behind me, doing my little video thing for my database. This guy comes over to me and goes, "Hey man, I was listening to what you were doing. That's really cool. Are you some sort of vlogger?" And I remember a little part of me dying inside going, no, but I really wanted to say yes. And so I want you to talk about why vlogging is so important. I also want to I want to hear about your childcare story and how that really humanized you in the Portland area. And last but not least, I want to step finally into the CTA, the call to action, and why that is so absolutely imperative in doing these videos. Otherwise you will get zero, bupkis, nil, zilch, nada in regards to people coming to you. Exactly like what I did. Exactly. So don't be Greg. Be Jackson.
Yeah. And that's a funny thing, and I can bounce off that. We're always vlogging out there, and oh my gosh, kids are like, "Are you a YouTuber? Are you a YouTuber? What's your channel?" And I'm like, "Dude, you're like 8, bro." Like, okay, so it's a thing. I mean, kids know YouTubers, they don't know actors. So we're getting into this world of like, oh man. But yes, you mentioned the CTA. So I really want to start there, because I gave you you need to figure out the titles, and then you need to open that video with exactly what they get. And then what we do is we pop into a little intro, and you can do this one of two ways. A 3-second, maybe your brand, Greg McDaniel, real estate, whatever. I mean, that just brands you. Right. What we do, if you watch ours on the Living in Portland channels, like we got Jesse riding a scooter, we got me walking up. Like, our vibe is just kind of fun, cool, whatever, hip. We think we're cool. But we hit them with that every time. These people, they've memorized our intro, right, in our music. So that goes for about 10 seconds. So you told them exactly what they get, and then we hit them with kind of a little branded Living in Portland intro, and then you come straight out, and this is exactly what you need to do. Instead of saying, "Hey, I'm Greg McDaniel, top real estate," you say, "Hey guys, you've been thinking about moving, relocating, or you just want to know more information about living in Portland, Oregon?" Well, we do every single video about all the cities, suburbs, what it's like to work, eat, sleep, live, play here. And if that is what you want, make sure you tap that subscribe button and you click the little bell so you're notified. You need subscribers. YouTube's a platform where you just want subscribers. Trust me, Greg, dude, if you get subscribers, this thing grows and it puts your videos out in front of more people again. Yep. And that's when they start. Dude, I have been reached out to in probably 10 different platforms. If they want to get a hold of you, they will find you. Even in our videos, if you notice, I always say, and it's like, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or even send us that pigeon carrier, however you want to get a hold of us. And that's the call to action, which I'm going to get into. But we get texts all the time, sending the pigeon carrier your way, all the time. So, okay, so now you came out and you told them to subscribe. So in an order, tell them what they get, little intro, and then tell them to subscribe. But don't tell them just subscribe. Give them value. We've always heard what value is. Well, hey, if you want to know everything about living in Walnut Springs, California, make sure you subscribe. And then this is the biggest trick right here, guys. And I have a story that I can remember exactly where I was at and what I was doing. I did all these videos for months and months. No calls, maybe a onesie, twosie. And I'm like, again, oh my God, I'm gonna have to quit real estate. Like, I can't figure this out. And I was sitting down with a lender and his manager, the owner of the branch. And he's like, and a lot of these videos you guys are doing, they're so great. And people are watching them, but have you ever told anybody to call you? And I'm like, no, that's me again. I don't like cold calling, door knocking. I don't like telling people. He's like, this is different. You're providing so much value. They're just going to use you. And I'm like, huh. So I'm out downtown South Waterfront, Portland. We're about to shoot this video, basically where to live in Portland, Oregon. So we cover every area of it kind of in a broad video. And at the beginning of it, I'm like, Jesse, I'm doing something new. And I'm like, hey guys, we get phone calls every single day from people moving and relocating here to the Portland Metro, and we absolutely love it. If you're even thinking about moving or relocating here, hey, reach out to us. Give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or even send us the pigeon carrier. However you want to get a hold of us, we got your back when moving to Portland. All right, so in this video, we're going to go, and I put that call to action in there, and I'm telling you, it was light switch effect. Like, now I'm not a sales guy. I'm giving you all of this value. You've been watching all my videos. You're learning what it's like to live in Portland. And hey, I love when people call me. And so I started looking into the psychology of that. And if you're not salesy and pushy, but you're giving a bunch of value, and then you say that, hey, a lot of people are calling me every day who are moving, relocating. In their mind, it's like the FOMO, the fear of missing out. Like, oh my gosh, well, if they're all doing it, I got to do it. And that's when it really, the waterfall effect. I think we had like 14 calls in the next like 2 days. And then from there, we averaged that a day.
Well, the funny thing is, Jackson, is that people only know what you tell them.
Right.
And so if you tell them a lot of people are calling you, even if you're just starting out, you're not faking it till you make it. You're being proactively reacting to your future, results of what you're going to be getting.
1,000%. Your very first video, that's what everybody was asked. Well, it's my first video. I'm like, trust me, in 6 months when you got 100 of them, like, it's not going to be your first one, and they're going to be watching all your stuff. So get it in there ASAP. So that call to action changed my life. That's where I'm sitting today, is because I told people to call me. And it gets back to, like, I wanted people to call me, and now they do, and they freak out. And I always tell my wife, I'm like, hey, turn your phone on. I got another call. And she records it. I put it on speakerphone, and there's no better feeling. It's like my best friends are calling me. And so you talked about the childcare story.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing, now we've structured our video, and the biggest hurdle that realtors have, again, is like that structure, and they really want to read a script, and they want to look professional. That's garbage. Like, you won't get calls that way. You got to tell your story and be you, and then those people call you. So this works in two ways. So what happened was, I was kind of nervous to tell people that I wasn't from Portland. I only moved here 2 years ago. But then I started realizing that, like, the more I talked about me moving there and what me and my family did, the more comments I got, the more calls. And so I did a video, moving to Portland, Oregon, my story. And I opened up, hey, I got to be honest with you. I moved here 2 years ago. And in this video, I'm going to tell you the hardest things I went through and some of the best things that's happened, in Portland. So I opened up about that. And I, now in a lot of videos, I said, what, the number one thing, I'm a kind of guy I can just pick up and go. And I don't think about much. My wife, thank God, is the organized one. And she's like worried about daycare. And we got here and couldn't find daycare. Like, it's so backed up. There's so many families moving here, and we ended up spending a fortune. And so I'm telling you this story exactly like I'm saying it. We spent a fortune. We couldn't find it. My son ended up getting bused from the school over to this other daycare for 1 hour, and it was like $36, and it was awful. So, like, if I can give you one piece of value, anybody out there watching, it's like, set your daycare up way before you even thinking about moving here. So now I get these calls. I mean, these women, these families are like in tears. Like, Jackson, thank you so much. We took 2 months to find a daycare, and if you wouldn't have told us that, we never would have found one. So who else are they going to call? And yeah, I mean, it's just been life-changing.
So interesting thought, and tell me if I'm wrong. I might be, and in your mind, I probably already am. But, what about creating a playlist about certain essential needs for the move? Like, hey guys, if you're thinking about moving, here are the top, child care that we've went out and interviewed, or personally for our kids. Or, hey guys, here are the top, laundry list of whatever said, services you need. Is that something that you've explored? Is that something, or am I completely off base here?
No, we do that all the time. Again, it kind of goes back to the keyword research. But yeah, like we always do like 6 tips or 6 secrets when moving to Portland, Oregon. And we'll mention a lot of things of, like, set up your daycares. Here's some of the areas. If you got kids and family, like, we're not steering or nothing, but like, this is where we see the majority of, the availability and yeah. So any tips and tricks that you can do, we do talk a lot about, hey, when you move here, in fact, we just did this video yesterday. It was some ways to, moving to Portland, Oregon, or how to move to Portland, Oregon and save lots of money. And so it's just kind of like preparing yourself to move. Like, and again, I told my story. I said, look, I moved here 2.5 years ago. You guys all know that. I brought all my couches and stuff because I thought I needed it. Well, it didn't fit the floor plan. Now my garage is stuffed full of furniture. So we see this with so many clients that reached out to us, as they bring these couches and all this huge stuff, which costs money to move. It takes more room in your truck, and then it doesn't fit. You just want it out of here, so you sell it for like 5 nickels. So you really gotta place that. So then this is where Jesse, the realtor, comes in. And he goes, you know what we do? You know what I love to do with our clients is actually we can get a 3D Matterport and get a floor plan, and then you can see if your couches and stuff fit in there, and if they don't, then you know to get rid of them. So we go real back and forth with the story and style, and that's where Jesse comes in, because he's a guy that he's not going to have the stories like me and just really like naturally on camera, but when I surprise him with a question or something about real estate or a neighborhood or why is this price per square foot or how can they save money, you'll see his little wheels spin and he just like boom, and then he's sitting there talking to me like, oh dude, I just had like 3 clients and they brought all their stuff here. Okay, so I started doing these 3D Matterports and like it's saving all these people this time, money. So yes, tips and tricks on moving. We're really starting to like just, we dabble with everything. I mean, at this point now,
there's a really funny thing that there's an app for the San Francisco Bay Area called Mr. Chili, and what he can do for the San Francisco area is you go on to Mr. Chili and you see what part of the city is going to be at what temperature. And so off that I asked you a while back. I'm like, dude, like, what about doing something about the weather? And what was your response?
I have an entire playlist dedicated on the front page that says Portland, Oregon weather, because that's what everybody wants to know. And that's, I really play into that. And again, we're in this real estate world of like everything's a cozy 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, but that just means it's really small, right? So like, no, you gotta be open and honest with these people. That's what they want. And so I did 3 reasons you should never move to Portland, Oregon. And what I opened up with was like, hey, if you're moving to Portland and or you're thinking about moving to Portland and you don't like rain, let's say you're from Arizona, you're from some of these sunny states, like you may not like it if you just can't stand the rain. I'm going to be honest, it rains a lot here, but what that does is it builds these beautiful mountains and trees and rivers. Like this is the most gorgeous place to live. But if you don't like rain, I would really strongly consider not moving here. So again, and guess what my comments are? I was like, I can't wait for the rain. I'm so sick of this California weather. So, again, just going back to stories and being open and honest, the pros and cons video, to go back to the very beginning of this interview, is the number 2 video you need to do. 5 pros, 5 cons. And not terrible cons, but again, it rains in Portland. In California, you can relate, hey, marijuana is legal here, so that's kind of a pro and a con. If you do smoke marijuana, you don't have to like hide it anymore. But at the same time, just know that wherever there's a taco stand, there's going to be a green plus sign there too. So.
That's the thing I love about this is that you're not talking down about your marketplace. You're just going, hey, this is what's here. This is also what's here. Not discriminating against either one. This is just what you need to know. That's all there is to it.
That goes back to what you need to know about living in Portland. And just one quick tip again, because I love doing this for people, is your home screen of your YouTube channel is the greatest website for your city. So your channel art up top needs to tell people, again, that 70 miles an hour down the freeway in 2 seconds what it's about. So if you look at ours, we used to be the Real Agent Now group in Portland, or not even in Portland, just the Real Agent Now group. But if you landed there, would you know what it's about? No. So that's when I had the thought, like, oh my gosh, I'm going into Google and renaming our channel to Living in Portland, Oregon, which is searched 3,000 times a month. And now when you search that, now not even our videos, which we have like the top 17 of the top 30 videos in that rank, but our channel, boom, slams number 1. Like literally they type that in and now they have an entire YouTube channel about it. And then they land there and the channel art says, subscribe to learn everything about living in Portland, Oregon. Super simple. You know exactly what it is.
And I Jackson, that's one of the aha moments I had with you when I first started talking, and you said that, and it flipped onto my mind, and I was just like, oh my gosh, who in their right mind goes out and goes, McDaniel Callahan real estate team, click.
Nobody. Yep.
Nobody. I mean, like literally, I think I'm the only one in all the searches. And so I went and I searched it, and I literally have 0 searchability. And then I did like living in the Bay Area living, Bay Area real estate, Bay Area, Bay Area, whatever. And all of a sudden, thousands of searches pop up. And I'm like, just making something. That's what I said, guys. This is the snake. This is one that if it was this close, it would have bit you. Because all you have to do is just shift your mindset to, look, it's not a me, I. It's like, what are the consumers looking for? Because this is a search engine. So give them what they're searching for. It is literally that simple. It
is that simple. And then, I'll touch on vlogging because you asked about that, because that's what we truly trailblazed for YouTube, for real estate. But yes, and I do want to go back and talk real quick about that channel, because everybody thinks they need to cram their email address and their number and all, like, to get a hold of me. I eliminated all that. Again, if they want to get a hold of you, in fact, if you just type my name in there, it just, all my videos, my channels pop up. They can Google you, they Facebook message you, they LinkedIn you, they will get a hold of you. But that's where your about section is. And in every video, when I say reach out, give us a call, I just run our number and our email across right there. They always call and they say, hey, we got your number saved. We wrote it down, whatever. So they'll get a hold of you. Make that homepage all about your city, and that's where you'll get tons of subscribers and business. So then now I'm like, okay, we done the pros and cons, done the cost of living. You can do it with a green screen. Mine was in my old brokerage. Like I said, I flipped my phone around and shot it. So it's a search engine. If you're providing answers, that's all you need. But then I'm like, okay, these people are reaching out. They want to know about this area and that area. And I'm like, Jesse, we got to go hit the boots to the ground. So we have, Portland, Oregon's the hub, and you have Northeast, Southeast, South, Southwest, Northwest, and North Portland. So we have a top 5 neighborhoods in North Portland, top 5 neighborhoods in Northeast Portland, top 5 neighborhoods in Southeast Portland. And guess what? All those we've done individual videos on too, and every major city and suburb. So Beaverton, Hillsborough, Tualatin, Tigard, all of the major cities and suburbs, which get searched anywhere from 3,000 up to 100,000 times a month.
Wow.
We've done an individual video on. So if you type in living, or like just Beaverton, Oregon, boom, there's our video. Hillsborough, Oregon, boom, there's our video. Tualatin, Oregon, boom, there's our video. They're all drivers right back to this channel. And so get out. And what we do is, I wish I had it with me. We took a GoPro. It's the greatest camera that's ever been made. You can use your cell phones, but when you start the vlog and stuff, I guess you have the new 11 that has stability. It didn't, when we started. The GoPro Hero 7 has built-in stability, so you don't need gimbals, nothing. You have this little teeny camera, and we would go. Here's the tip: go to the anchor, whatever that city is. In Portland, Oregon, you can go to downtown. If you go to, Hillsborough, you can go right into like a Renko station. So go to where the sign is, that anchor, and you say, today we're standing right in the middle of Hillsborough, Oregon. This is the actual most affordable city to live in the state of Oregon because of how much the jobs are paid and how cheap the homes are. So if you want to learn about it, stay tuned. So now we're in the anchor of it. This is the new construction. Here's the shops, restaurants, bars. Everybody wants a Whole Foods in a new season. So there's your new seasons. You have homes that were built, 50 plus years ago. So if you want that bigger lot, this is the neighborhood. And I bring in a map as B-roll and I point an arrow to it, like right here, ding, 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 ding. And then we go and we drive through new neighborhoods. This is your new construction. And all I do, because I don't know it, I'm like, how much are these houses going for? He's like, right now they're going $430 for like the 3-bedroom, if you want like the 5-bedroom, you're going to be like $499 to $525. I got like 3 clients getting one in here. He's just telling me stories. So like, that's kind of how we bring in the real estate piece is talking about that. Other than that, we don't, but just get to the anchor, get out there and vlog it. And that's what people want.
You know what? I just Google searched because you just made me very curious. I'm like, I'm going to go search top neighborhoods in the Bay Area. You know what? Nobody has done a video about it. Then I'm like, top neighborhoods in San Francisco. KPIX, a news station, is the one that's done it. They've only done 3 videos. Max video views is 2.3 million views. Average views 155,000. They did it 2 years ago and they stopped.
It's sad. I mean, it's sad to see, but at the same time, when you go and you start doing this market research, so 2 parts. One, if you do see another real estate agent do a video, you're like, oh, he's already there. You're competing with like 10,000 agents on YouTube or on Facebook and Instagram and door knocking and cold calling and all that. It doesn't bother you, but if one guy is on YouTube, you're like, dang it. It's like there are 2.3 billion users on this and growing. It's the #1 platform. It gets 9 times more internet usage than any social platform combined. So people are living there, and guess what, Greg? They're going to love my personality, People are going to relate to Bernice. People are going to relate to you. And those are the people who call you. But then again, you do look in a lot of cities like what I did. And guess what all my competition was? Some like 20-year-old chick sitting in her apartment with like a Bob Marley blanket behind her talking about the cost of living. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like why this should be me, you know what I mean? Like, and it is now. So yeah, and just again, go back to your story. So the cost of living video, I pulled up. I told you about this, Greg. You just Google it, and like everything pops up, and all I do is rank it off of even 100. The national average is 100. Portland, Oregon is here, you know, and why? So you talk about, you know, the home prices and the different areas that are a little bit more expensive, and then I pulled the camera out and I'm like, okay, here's my bills. I pay $50 for internet. Gas down the street right now is $2.70 a gallon. So I just pulled in my bills, and that video has tens and tens of thousands of views, and it's our #1 driver to our.
So, Jackson, this has been a phenomenal interview. Thank you for sharing all your wisdom with us. We've been visiting with Jackson Wilkie, and he is an expert on using YouTube to build your business. And he's also a part of the real estate team with his partner in Portland, Oregon. Thank you for being with us today.
Oh yeah, no, I love this stuff. So sorry, I talk a lot, I get excited, but yeah, anybody out there who's been wanting, you know, to get on video and how to do it, that's really how. Tell your stories, figure out what people are typing into the keyboard, and get those videos out. That's what people need.
Thanks for being with us.
Oh, absolutely.